Hello, my dear students and viewers. Welcome to my channel, Scorpio class. So here we are with the video of class 10, second language English poem, Off to Outer Space Tomorrow Morning, summary of this poem. So this video is going to be very helpful and informative for you all as you are going to have the entire summary, the explanation in easy words, which is going to help you to prepare for your exams. So stay tuned till end and do not miss any part of it. So let's get started. But before that, my dear viewers, if you're new to my channel and watching my video for the first time, to subscribe my channel and hit the bell icon so that you get the notification of all the upcoming videos. So let's get quickly started without any delay. So very firstly, we'll see the introduction of this poem. So, Of the Outer Space Tomorrow Morning is one of the literary written by Norman Nicholson. So, Norman Nicholson is the writer or the poet of this poem. Okay. Now, Norman Nicholson is a poet from the United Kingdom, well known for his straightforward attitude, and thus he is very direct in his thought and tells whatever he feels without any hesitation, and this element can be seen throughout the poem. The text of this piece is the simple story of the thoughts of an astronaut as he prepares the head off into outer space. Okay, so I think you might have understood that this poem is written by Norman Nicholson, who is a poet who belongs to United Kingdom. He is a person who is very straightforward, having straightforward attitude, and speaks whatever he has in his thoughts and tells it without any hesitation. So, this piece of poem which we are reading today is a simple story of his thoughts of an astronaut. Actually, these are the thoughts of an astronaut which are expressed in the form of poem here, who is preparing to move off into outer space the next morning. Okay, so this is the hint and the introduction of the poem and the poet. Now, let's move with the poem, and stanza 1 is here. So, let's read stanza 1 and its explanation. So you can start the countdown. You can take a last look. You can pass me my helmet from its plastic hook. You can cross out my name from the telephone book, for I'm off to outer space tomorrow morning. Okay, so you could feel the rhythm, the rhyming words also could be noticed while you read it. So this is the stanza. Now let's see the explanation. The poet here is telling so many things for us to do when he is using the phrase you can, indicating to the readers. He says that we can start the countdown because he feels that he is ready, and asks us to take a last look at him because he feels that he might not return back to Earth. He is having a negative thoughts, and thus he asks to look at him for the last time before he goes to space. He has to gear up and ask us to give him the helmet and ask the readers to cross his name from the telephone book because no one will be able to call him anyway, as the space shuttle won't have a telephone to talk to people on Earth and will leave the next day early in the morning to outer space. So this is the explanation. Here the poet is saying to start the countdown. As you start countdown of any moment or any celebration like 10, 9, 8, like you are very much ready to just set out and start the celebration. Same way here, the poet is telling that this person, this astronaut, is all ready, and you can start the countdown and also take a last look for about of this astronaut, the person or the speaker or the poet who's going to leave this world and go to the outer world the next morning. So one last time you can have a look because he might not return back to Earth from that space. Then he also has this negative thought of not returning back. So he asks to see one last time before he goes to space. And then he also asks to give the helmet and asks the readers to cross out his name from the telephone book, the book where you feed all the numbers and keep all the contact numbers as we were doing earlier, right? So he requests us to cross out his name because there will be no use of having his number because you cannot call him anyway because he is he's going to a space shuttle, and there we won't have any telephone, and he cannot talk to the people on the earth, nor the people of earth can talk to him, and he's going to leave the next morning to the outer space. Okay, so this is the first stanza. Moving to next one. There won't be any calendar, there won't be any clock. Daylight will be on the switch and winter under lock. I'll doze when I'm sleepy and wake without a knock, for I'm off to outer space tomorrow morning. Okay, so here again he says what are the things he will have in outer space and what he is going to leave behind in the earth. So the poet says that there won't be any calendar or a clock, because he, even if he carries these things to with him to the space, it will be of no use for him, because he won't have any day and night over there. Similarly, calendar will also be useless, because there he will not be knowing which day or which date it is. It is only when he returns back from outer space to earth he'll get to know that for how many days he stayed in the space. For him everything will be day, and only when he switched on the light and off the light, that is how the day and night is going to be for him. And he's relating this to the artificial light. This artificial light which is going to use in the space is what is referring to daylight and sunlight. Now, the lock and the door which he has, it is the only thing that will separate him from the winter, which is outer space, or else he should be inside the door within the spaceship, and then he can feel warm and cozy over there. And he says that he will sleep whenever he feels sleepy, since there is no one to wake him up, and he will get up whenever he feels like. The poet then also reminds the readers that again he is going to off to outer space the next morning. So this line, you see that it's repeated in each and every stanza. It's a reminder line which is used by the writer again and again in the entire poem to focus on it, that yes, tomorrow is going to outer space. I hope this is clear. Let's move to next stanza, stanza 3. I'll be writing no letters, I'll be posting no mail, for with nobody to visit me, and not a friend in hail, in solitary confinement as complete as any goal, I'll be off to outer space tomorrow morning. So again, here the poet tells the readers that there is no use in writing any letters to him, because there will be no post available, no mail available to him. The poet will be all alone there. Solitary confinement means all alone in a jail, kind of, where you are not allowed to meet anybody. Okay, so he'll be in solitary confinement, he will be all alone. He will have no one to visit him, neither in times of happiness nor in times of suffering. He has to face everything all alone, because nobody is there to share his happiness nor his suffering. The poet feels that because he's in space shuttle, he compares it to the jail, because space shuttle is just a box which is completely locked from every side, and the astronaut has to be inside it. So the poet says he'll be inside it. So he compares the space shuttle with the jail, and he feels suffocated like living within that box. Okay, but even then he reminds again that he'll be off to outer space tomorrow morning, because he has that enthusiasm and curiosity to visit there. Though he has all the negative things and thoughts coming in his mind, what he's going to miss, he's mentioning that also, and he's also reminding that he's going to leave for space tomorrow morning. Next stanza. When my capsule door is sealed and my space flight has begun, with the teacups circling around me like the planets around the sun, I'll be center of my gravity, a universe of one, setting off to outer space tomorrow morning. So here poet says as soon as he will enter the spaceship and the door will be shut, the space flight will begin, and when he enters the space, there will not be any gravity over there. As you know, there is no gravitational force out on the space. So everything around the poet will encircle him, it will be flying around him, and that he feels he will be the center of his gravity. He will be at the center, and all the other things, whatever it may be, whatever things he has taken or the take ups, it will be just moving or revolving around him, just as the planets revolve around the sun yeah, as a center of gravity. So he's comparing himself with the planets and sun. So that is how he's comparing and saying, trying to explain us. I hope this is clear. Next, moving to stanza 5. You can watch on television and follow from afar, tracking through your telescope my upward shooting star. But you need not think I'll give a damn for you or what you are when I'm off to outer space tomorrow morning. Okay, so here the poet tells on to the people on earth that you can watch him. You can watch this astronaut or the poet who is in the space shuttle and going towards outer space. You can follow him, but from earth only by tracking through the signals from through the telescopes. And he compares his space shuttle or his rocket to a shooting star, so you can keep a track on it with the help of telescope. The poet, however, does not care about who's watching or following him, as he will be in space and he won't have any idea about it. He never bothers whether you see, follow him, track him, or not, because he is not aware of anything, because he has already left for the space. Now, the poet feels proud that he will be in outer space again the next day. So, this is how the poem goes on. Moving to last stanza. And when the rockets thrust me on my transgalactic hop with 20,000 light years before the first stop, then you and every soul on earth can go and blow your top, for I am off to outer space tomorrow morning. So, in the last stanza, the poet says that when the rocket will take off, it will create a thrust and he will go on a journey across the galaxy. With a great power, the rocket will start and it will go on a journey which is across the galaxy. And his journey is endless with 20,000 light years before his first stop. He has to cover so much of distance. He will be on a journey so far away. And meanwhile, the people on earth can go on with their day to day life. Means people can carry on their daily routine, the daily work which they go on with, and he is off to space because this won't affect him. And even if you don't sit and watch, or you are busy with your routine work, or you are just waiting and looking at the space shuttle, neither of the things is going to bother the poet, that is the astronaut who has left for the space, as he will be off to outer space next morning. So he will be unaware of everything, whether you keep a track, whether you watch, or whether you be busy in your own routine and daily work. So this is how this poem goes. And after every stanza, the last line of every stanza has the same line with the same meaning, reminding the readers to know that is the poet is going to outer space tomorrow morning. He wants to emphasize on it, focus on it, because he's so happy and curious and proud also. So here we finish our poem stanzas. Now let's read out the conclusion of the poem. The poet uses a unique technique. Through negative references, he conveys positive feelings. When he compares life in outer space to solitary confinement in jail, and when he says that there would be no friend who would inquire after his well being, it is as though he laments about his loneliness. But then the tone, which is light and jovial, persists throughout the poem. And we can make out that he is looking forward to experience of being alone amidst the vastness of the outer space with no one to disturb him. The poet has no sense of regret, as such an existence offers him the splendor of being the center of his own gravity, a universe by himself with teacups circling around him like the planets in orbit. Okay, so very beautiful conclusion is given here. That poet uses a very unique technique in his poem, though he is having many negative things which is going to miss in the space, but even then he conveys the positive feelings. He says about the loneliness, how he's going to be in jail, he'll feel as if he's in jail in solitary confinement, there'll be no friends, but even then he is showing the beautiful tone of light and jovial which is maintained throughout the poem in the last line of every stanza, that he is looking forward to experience that being alone in such a big space and there will be no one to disturb him as he is disturbed on the earth. And the poet has no sense of regret, not a little bit of regret the poet is having, even though he will be all alone there. He is happy because he'll be getting an opportunity to be the center of his own gravity, and all the planets and teacups all the teacups will be circling around him like the planets in the orbit. So very beautiful conclusion of a poem. I hope it is understood and clear by everyone. And I hope this will be helpful for you all to understand the poem and answer the questions and prepare for your exams. So we'll be very soon coming up with the question and answer session of this poem, which is again going to help you all. So we'll be back soon. Till then, stay safe, stay tuned, and stay safe. Thank you.